Hi, I'm Tim from the Marathon Mates. On this episode of The Flying Runner, we're talking to our good friend Hayley Pymont. Hayley is a former Indigenous Marathon Project runner who has since gone on to run many more marathon events around the world. We first met Hayley at the Berlin Marathon back in 2023, where we were able to showcase her on some of our Facebook Lives. Since then, Hayley has gone on to achieve many things, including being the Indigenous Ambassador at the Sydney Marathon last year. On this episode, we'll hear all about Hayley's running journey and her plans for the future. We've got the experience and the knowledge as we are the only podcast with 4 six-star World Marathon Major medalists as co-hosts. This is the Flying Runner podcast. Are you ready to run? Let's go.
Welcome to the thrilling world of the Flying Runner, brought to you by the Marathon Mates.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Flying Runner. I'm Tim from the Marathon Mates, and this is episode number 98. Tonight, I'd like to introduce you to our good friend, Hayley Pymont. Hayley was we first met Hayley back in Berlin in 2023, and since then, we've seen her go strength to strength with her running, as she's run a number of marathons around the world, including recently in London for the London Marathon. We know her marathon journey started a few years back when she participated in the Indigenous Marathon Project. And on tonight's episode, we're going to hear all about her running journey and where it's taken her in the world. So, Hayley, welcome to our show tonight. How are you feeling?
Yeah, really good. Thanks for having me, of course. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty chilled, still recovering, but yeah, awesome.
Excellent. Well, we'll get to say and hear a little bit more about your recent journeys and why you're recovering. But in the meantime, we're joined by my usual co-hosts, Tony, and my better half, Tara from Team Ellis Running. Guys, how are you? And I guess more importantly, Tara, how are you feeling? I haven't seen you since this morning. So how are you feeling? And how's the recovery going?
Okay, so for our listeners who have missed me for the last 2 weeks, not my husband who saw me this morning, as you may have heard, I got a pacemaker put in 2 weeks ago for my heart. I had an AV block, and that was a complete AV block, so the electrical signals weren't transmitting from the top half of my heart to the bottom half of my heart. And with that, it was causing me to have what's called ventricular standstill, and pretty much my heart was stopping for up to 10 to 20 seconds at a time, depending on how it was going. So my cardiologist decided that it was time for a pacemaker, as all the other tricks and tips that I've tried haven't worked. So after having the pacemaker put in, I instantly felt like a whole new person. It's like a light switch went on in my body, and I can now function better again. So I just didn't realize how sick I was until I'm not now. I can't wait to go back to running. I've still got another 2 weeks of recovery, but I can walk 5Ks without any problems, not being out of breath. And it's nice to be able to walk up the stairs in one go without stopping several times to get up them. So no, it's really good. Doing well.
Excellent. It's good to see you back, Tara, and I know I was very proud of you yesterday for what you did yesterday as well. So we'll talk about that in a second. And Tony, how's your week been, mate?
Yeah, I'm sick to death of the rain. I think I mentioned that last week and the week before, but I'm really tired of running in the rain. But that being said, I got out twice on the weekend, over the weekend, 6.5K, massive long run on Saturday. And only because I got sick to death of running in the rain, and that's why I pulled up stumps. But we had the QUT Classic on Sunday, which is a 10K event going from the Queensland University of Technology there in the city, up over the bridge to South Bank, and then along the predominantly paths around Kangaroo Point and back. Really nice little 10K run. Nice vibe. There wasn't too many deadly serious runners that were pushing people out of the way. But yeah, that was my weekend. It was relatively good. Sharon's been a bit hamstrung because she's got hamstring tendinopathy or something, some big name that's basically, yeah, she's got some dodgy stuff happening with her hammies. So she's actually off running at the moment, which is a little bit of a challenge for her. So she's got exercises that our physio's told her she's got to do morning and night. So she's going through them. She's walking. She walked the 10K on Sunday. Didn't look happy about it. If you look at the photos from the race, does not look happy at all. But anyway, that's Sharon. And yeah, so it's going to be interesting. We've got the Brisbane half coming up in 2 weeks. And then, of course, we're only 6 weeks away from Gold Coast. So it'll be an interesting journey for both of us, I guess. As long as the rain stops, I think I'll be okay. But I think Sharon's going to get some massive walking. She's going to reach out to our good friend Steve Tudgman, who power walked Boston in 5 hours 30, because she reckons that's possibly her only hope. So we'll see how we go. That was it.
Yep. And Tara, I mentioned that we did something yesterday. What did we do yesterday?
Yeah, so I actually did my first park run back with Tim on Saturday. So admittedly walking, but it was nice to be able to walk that 5Ks, and that was in the rain. Then yesterday we actually did what's called the GC30 race. Tim actually did the 30Ks. Obviously, I had to pull out of the 30Ks for obvious reasons. And so I walked the 5K race. So I downgraded my run to the 5K one, and I walked that. And that was quite a nice walk for me. I managed to do that in, I think, about 49 minutes. So not a slow walk, but not a fast walk. But felt really good. Tim, you did yours in, I think, about 2 hours 50 or something like that for the 30Ks.
2 hours 51. Not that times really matter, but it was more about comfort for me and just running at a nice cruisy pace. I wanted to run somewhere between 5:45 and 6 minute pace, and I came in at 5:42 pace. So happy with that. The last it was 3 10K loops, and I attacked the first two and held on for the last lap as best I could, but ended up wearing out over the last 3 kilometres or so. I don't know what it is with me, but that 5K stint between 25Ks and 30Ks, whether it's in a 30K race or a marathon, it always gets me. And I don't know why. Once I get to 30Ks, I know in a marathon it's 12Ks to go. I can cope with that. It's counting down to, okay, from 12Ks down to 10, 9, then you're into single digits to go. Somehow makes you feel better. And then you think, okay, it's 4 more Ks to 5 to go, and that's only a park run, and you can convince yourself you can get there. But 25 to 30, I don't know what it is. It always gets me. But anyway, it is what it is. And Hayley, did you get any running in over the weekend?
What day are we? No. No, I didn't get any running. I think I only got 2 runs in last week.
Yep.
One big one, actually, which I'll talk about soon, and then just a small one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. And just for our listeners, Lucia's not joining us tonight. She's currently traveling back from the Great Ocean Road, where they have their racing events on just this weekend. She went down there as a supporter and supported some of her friends. So she's not joining us tonight. And I guess the last little thing is we've got our 100th episode coming up in the next couple of weeks, in 2 weeks' time. And we're looking for our listeners, for you guys to actually send us some messages about some questions that you would like to have asked by us. So send us in any questions you want about running or about how to get better or to do something different. Think about what you want. We've already had quite a few questions come in, but if you've got any questions whatsoever, please send them into our social media channels, and we'll pick them up and use them on the show. So that's the welcome bit of the... Sorry?
Just on that, Tim, some of the questions that we have had have been quite illuminating. So, there are some people that have asked some questions, and then some of them are very confident in. So one's a multiple choice question of all things. I never thought we'd see a multiple choice question come through, but we are. And I think I know which one Tim would pick. So I think our viewers and our listeners tend to have a nice understanding of who you are. So I'm really intrigued when we ask that question, whether that particular listener is correct in their assumption. So, but yeah, please send them through, whether it's on our email address at happyrunning@flyingrunner.com or via any of our social media pages. So.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Thanks, Tony. And now it's that time of the week where we talk about the news. Tony, what's been happening around the world this week?
All right, so I've been given the news segment from Tim because he's hosting, and as Tim likes to do, he likes to throw in all the big words when I'm running through the news segment. So if I just make words up, please understand it's because I cannot relate to the word that's on my screen in front of me. So the first bit of news, and actually this one's got some interest. Is your running cadence creating stress fractures? That's an interesting headline. There's a new study from Rowan University School of Osteopathic Medicine, and it's suggesting that increasing your step turnover could induce the risk of stress fractures by more than 5%, which is really interesting. Cadence is the number of steps that we take per minute. Most smart watches nowadays will measure or can measure or monitor your cadence. So if you've ever been complimented on your long leaping stride, Tim, it might come at a cost, right? With the study showing that fewer steps per minute, more ground contact time, and great impact increases force to your joints. So I'll just go through that again. The study showing that fewer steps per minute and more ground contact time, great impact, increases force to your joints. So am I reading that right, Tim? That the more ground contact time you have, the more force on your joints?
The slower your cadence, the more ground time your feet are spending on the ground, and therefore the more force that's coming up through your feet into your joints and bones is essentially what it says.
So increasing your cadence reduces tibia stress fracture probability, peak hip induction angles, and overall forces exerted on the hip and knee. Researchers found that runners so logging 11 or more kilometers per day could reduce their stress fracture risk by more than 5%, simply by shortening their stride length by 10%. Increasing cadence improves running efficiency and therefore running time. Interesting. Of course, before you make any adjustments based on my woeful reading, please seek some proper advice from a coach or Tim, or your medical practitioner. Please understand. But that's interesting. So increasing your cadence, decreasing your contact time is, I suppose, almost logical that it reduces those stress fractures.
Yes, and this study confirms that.
Wow.
So, yeah, it is quite an interesting one. And I guess if anyone is having ongoing stress fractures or stress issues with their bones, it's probably worth looking that study up and talking to a coach or to a doctor about it. But yeah, it's an interesting study from the Rowan University School of Osteopathic Medicine.
It would make sense in so many ways to lengthen your stride, doesn't it? So, and often I've thought about that when I've been looking at my stats, because when I do intervals or something, I can see my cadence goes up, but also my stride length goes up. And, part of my thought process around some of my training blocks has been I need to increase my stride length. But maybe that's not the way to go. Maybe it is about just looking at increasing your cadence based on whatever form you've got as a runner. So
you've got to be careful when you increase your stride length, because you can actually overstride and then become a heel stroke, which causes even more problems. So, so there's a few things in play there.
Go see some professional advice. Please don't listen to us. So
listen to us, but don't take our advice. we need the listener numbers.
Okay. Hopefully we've whetted your appetite to go seek some professional help, right? And that I certainly need some professional help after reading that article. So marathon rubbish. This is something that's dear to Tim's heart, apparently. So one man has cleaned up hundreds of gel packets tossed on the ground along the Stanley Park seawall at the Vancouver Marathon. After the Vancouver Marathon finishes, there's lots of gel packets left in Stanley Park after the event. So many that Christian, is that his real name? Carklands.
Yep.
My God, I'd be changing that. So Christians took it upon himself to spend hours cleaning up along the seawall and in the park. Sorry, Christian, just that's the Australian in me coming out. It's probably a normal name for someone in Vancouver. Cleaning along the seawall and in the park, something that the organizer in the city failed to do. Now, that's ordinary, can I just say? He came back on the Monday the 5th and started the cleanup. Videos posted of his cleanup efforts showed that there were literally hundreds of discarded gel packets on the ground and close to the seawall. Event organisers said they reminded runners to place rubbish in the bins provided on the course, but this obviously, it clearly didn't happen. Further to this, the city was responsible for the cleanup of the park area and later admitted that their efforts were not satisfactory and could have been done better. This is one of Tim's big peeves. And seriously, just telling the runners to clean up after themselves, I mean, my God, that just doesn't happen in the vast majority of races. So there needs to be some sort of cleanup. It's as simple as if you generate rubbish, put it in the bin, or do runners pay enough to expect the race organisers or council officials will clean it up? Interesting. Whoever's run Tokyo understands very clearly the consequences of leaving any sort of litter, and there are volunteers, wonderful volunteers, that will sit there with these big plastic bags for you to walk up and say thank you and put your rubbish in. And I've always struggled with the fact that if Tokyo can do it, why other events can't do it? But I'd be interested in your thoughts. What are your thoughts, team?
I hate it.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a culture thing, and I know that this sounds really bad, but I do know that when I was running Tokyo Marathon, I was behind two Americans, and they're just like, I don't understand why we just can't have trash cans everywhere and why we just can't throw our rubbish down and somebody else picks it up. So I think it's a bit of a cultural thought that this isn't my problem, it's somebody else's problem. I'm not saying that it's all Americans or it's that sort of thing, but maybe it's a cultural thing or a generational thing where people just go, well, that's not my problem. I've paid $150 to do this race. Somebody else can do that. Or I'm in a rush, don't want to put it in my pocket. Look, you get it out of your pocket, just put it back in your pocket. That's my theory. So if you've got time to take it out of your pocket and eat the thing on the run, put it back in your pocket. It's not hard. So, yeah.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate seeing the gel packets on the street afterwards in those big events. Yesterday during GC30, it's 4 kilometres of trail in the dunes of the beach, right next to the beach. It's running along roads that are against the Broadwater there on the spit at the Gold Coast. And to see gel packets on the ground, in the trails, on the dunes, on the roads near the drains, the stormwater drains that flow down into the Broadwater and into the ocean. It's just wrong, especially when there are so many bins provided 4 drink stations on a 10K loop. So at the most, if you generate some rubbish, you're holding it for maybe 1 kilometre or 2 kilometres at most between drink stations where there are bins. So I think it's laziness. I think it's people just expecting somebody else to do it for them. I get that occasionally you might drop one and not even realise you've dropped one, but these are empty gel packets that I'm seeing. I'm not seeing a lot of full ones that are dropped out of people's pockets. So I think it's wrong.
Yeah, disappointing. It was. I mean, congratulations to Christian for being proactive and doing that, but it shouldn't be left up to just one individual. And Tim, I'm going to hand it back to you because that was probably the worst news break we've had.
And I just write it all out word for word, and all you have to do is read it. But anyway, thanks, Tony. Now it's that time where we get to talk to Hayley about her running journey. So, Hayley, what we'll do is we'll ask some questions and get you to answer the questions and see how we go. How's that sound?
Beauty.
Cool. I'm going to start it off. I'm going to ask you a very simple question. When did you first get into running, and why did you get into running? Maybe it's
so. Well, first off, I've always been a sporty person since I was a little kid. Little athletics, running, soccer, running. But for long distance, it wasn't until 2022 when I got selected to be part of the Indigenous Marathon Project, and then the journey began.
The addiction.
Excellent. Hayley, you've just mentioned that you're obviously from the Indigenous Marathon Project, which we've had Rob on the show before discussing that, and it's a wonderful initiative to get some of the local people and the native, the people that can't actually get into running themselves from remote communities into running. So whereabouts are you from, and what's your heritage, what's your background there?
Yeah, so for myself, I actually grew up in Wollongong on Darawal land. But yeah, grew up on Darawal land in the Illawarra, but have family ties to Gudmangdura clan, which is out in Cootamundra. And have families to Narendra, Grong, all that area. But yeah, I've never really been out that way. I've only been out that way a few times. I'd love to get back out there and just, I guess, connect more to my country and culture out that way. But yeah, I grew up on Darawal land, and it's a very special place.
Time with the IMP, what did you learn about yourself? And how have you used that since to motivate and keep driving forward?
I guess the biggest thing that I learned would be that I am capable of doing hard things. Obviously, not learning to run, but I guess the foundations of long distance running, from coming to quick agility and playing soccer to long distance, is a big shift. With that big shift, obviously learning to do hard things and showing that I'm capable of doing that has obviously led to where I am today. So that's almost 3 years later, that I've continued on that journey from 2022. There are times that I'm like, no, I can't do this, I'm not able to do it. But then I remember, yes, I can do that. 2022 showed me that, and I'm still here today doing hard things, whether it's running or internal work. I am capable of showing up and doing what I need to do.
One of the big messages that, and one of my great memories that I have of you, Hayley, and I guess this is about Hayley showing up as well, is that when Sharon and I were finishing the Berlin Marathon in 2023 and coming up to the Brandenburg Gate, it was not a pleasant marathon for Sharon. And just to hear your booming voice at the side saying, "Come on, Shazza," was just awesome. So, and you showed up for not just yourself, you showed up and helped other people across the line. So I thought that was pretty amazing. So well done.
yeah, it was a pretty awesome moment, I must say. Good little memory. Yeah.
I like what you just said about, it makes you tough, and you can get through most things by being a marathoner. And I know we talked about that last week on our episode last week about being mentally tough. And I know you've done more than the one marathon. You've done multiple marathons. But since finishing the IMP, the Indigenous Marathon Project, how many marathons have you now gone on to run, and where were they?
Yeah, so since obviously IMP doing the TCS New York City Marathon, I've gone on to then do Gold Coast Marathon in Australia, and then followed that up a few months later with the BMW Berlin, and then I've just recently done the TCS London Marathon 3 weeks ago. So that's 4, and I've also done a 50K run on New Year's Eve, just gone. So that was pretty special.
Yep.
Wow,
So you're on that journey.
I'm on that journey.
Excellent. So you mentioned that you did London. That's one of our favourites. Like,
Yeah.
I know Tony loved it, Tim loved it, I loved it. How did you find it, and what did you find was like? Obviously, it was different to Berlin, but what was your experience there?
I loved it as well. No, it was great. Like the weather, I don't know if it's because I'm used to like the warmer weather over here. It's about mid-20s over there.
Yeah, heat wave,
Sunny
apparently.
sky. Yeah, so for Londoners, I guess, and UKers, they're probably not used to running in it. So a lot of them actually experienced like heat, dehydration and struggled a bit, whereas I thrived off it. It was like a comfortable temperature for me. Little bit of water, like drizzling water. They've got the hoses going, so I'm like running around in the hoses with their hands up in the sky. I'm like, I was thriving. I loved it. Obviously, a few moments where my body's like, oh, my foot's sore. I can feel the nerve pain coming back in my foot. I'm like, no, like I haven't had that in a while. So it was a bit frustrating with that pain in my left foot. Otherwise, the feet held up really well. I actually, this is funny, but at one of the hostels, it's like a triple layer bunk bed, and I slipped off the top one. This was like 4 days or 5 days before the marathon, mind you, and I hurt my knee, so I bunged my knee, and my hand is still hurting. Like I like grabbed the rail and I slipped. So I was like worried I was gonna have a really bad knee because I have knee issues anyway. But I was like, no, we don't need this. And I had no knee pain whatsoever. And I was like, thank you. But no, like, I really enjoyed it overall. I really enjoyed the water bottles. Do they do water bottles when you done it?
Yes.
Yeah, the 200
Yeah.
mil ones or whatever they are.
Yeah, I
Little
loved
flip
it. I
top.
think, yeah, it was so good because I honestly just carried it most of the way and then got a new bottle, like tipped it over me, sipped it. Probably too much water consumption though when I reflect. But just like the little things and like high-fiving people, tried to get some candy, but I was running too fast, so I missed it. But I think like I look back at it, like when I reflect, I think for me, like I love the whole experience, but for me, I get a bit too consumed with my time, and I've always wanted to break like the sub 4 for a while, so I get a bit in my head about it. And I think for me, I was looking at my watch too much. So I think I was still in the experience, but then I was also time when I shouldn't have. I should have just enjoyed it more. But overall, like I absolutely loved it. And then my time, well, we're 29 seconds over the 4-hour mark. But it's okay because I got a 12-minute PB, finished with a smile, mentally really headstrong for the run, physically pretty happy overall. But yeah, and then like the feeling of coming to the bridge and then Big Ben and Buckingham Palace, like next level.
Yeah.
Honestly, like actually
How
welled up and
awesome.
had a tear.
How awesome was it running over Tower Bridge?
Oh, so good. Like obviously we walked over sightseeing, but then when we turned the corner and come to it, I just got this feeling just rushed through my whole body. And I was like, oh my goodness, like this is why I'm here. This is why I'm here. And obviously, like, I try not to, but I did have my phone with me, so I took like a little video of it and like good old keepsake. When I'm 80, I'll look back and I'll be like, I did that. Yeah, I did. But no, it was just beautiful, honestly.
Now imagine if you hadn't have done that, you would have broken 4 hours. But anyway,
That's okay.
now the other thing that was amazing about your run in London is that you are now one of the proud recipients of the Guinness World Book of Records because of so that's pretty cool as well. So hey, Hayley, quick question. 6 stars, 9 stars, wherever this thing ends up, is that part of your motivation moving forward? Are you driven to get that 6-star medal or 7-star or wherever we go with it? Is that part of your motivation going forward?
Yeah, it definitely is part of my running journey. It's something I set out probably before I even started running in London, to be honest. Oh, not London, sorry, New York. After New York, though, because I had a tough first marathon, I was like, I don't know if I want to go do the rest now. But like 5 minutes later, I was like, this is what I'm doing. So I've got my 4th major coming up soon. So we'll talk about that very shortly, but I'm very excited. So that'll be 4 done. And then I'm thinking Tokyo might be my next. But I'm also waiting on an email about something else. So we'll see what happens.
Ooh.
But yeah, I'm definitely going after them all. I thrive off a challenge. And I just want to push myself. And then I also get to travel the world. So it's like you get to travel, challenge yourself, do new things, meet new people. Like, what's better than that, honestly? I'm just like, I love it.
100%. We wouldn't have met you if we weren't doing the same things, right?
Exactly.
You only meet the best people when you're traveling and running. That's
Definitely.
what I say. Yeah.
2-in-1 combo.
So you've done New York, Berlin, Gold Coast, and London marathons, plus a 50K run, plus no doubt a few other little runs around the place. Yeah. Out of all the events you've been to and running races, which one would have been your favourite event that you've run at?
If we go by majors, I'm going to say London. I loved in Berlin, though, it was the cheering on for like 2 hours after and then being there for the final people coming through. And there was something really special that happened for me that I experienced with another runner, which I'll probably always remember that. But I think major-wise, London, running-wise anyway. But I think, like, you can't really beat that 50K that I'd done. That wasn't a race. That was, I'd done that just to raise money for charity.
So where was that one run? Where did you run the 50K?
So I did that at home. So I did that from Seacliff Bridge up north, and then I finished at my work down in Marilla. I think it was just under $3,000 for a local charity, Talk to Me Bro. So they're a suicide prevention and awareness charity, which I'm a part of. And obviously I hold that quite close to myself. So I think that was pretty special. And like the support that I had, my family, like being my crew, I think it's going to be hard to top that. Yeah.
That's definitely a special thing because it's not, you're not actually racing for a medal, you're racing for yourself. Like you're racing for a cause and you're running because it's something that you really want to do. And you don't have the support of everybody else around you to keep you going either. Like mentally, it's quite hard to run something like that where you don't have that huge crowd support with you, as you probably have just found out. So I know that you probably don't have a typical week of running, but what is your typical week, I guess, as such? Like, do you do some strength work or some crossfitting, or what sort of work do you do?
Yeah, so I think, look, I'm going to be honest, the last couple of months, my training hasn't been top notch. I was actually sick for like a couple of weeks before I went to London, so I'm glad I pulled up well. But if we're going from this week forward, I'll be looking at 4 to 5 runs a week, and then hopefully 2 strength sessions and Pilates. And then I would love to get into swimming as well. So it's not something I'm strong at, but I'd like to get better at. I think that would just help the joints as well, and maybe even just free the mind a bit more as well. But yeah, so looking at like long run intervals, I've got 2 run clubs that I go to, which is good because usually I'm a solo runner, so it's nice to integrate and meet other like-minded people and have that community feel as well. And yeah, just like Pilates, I have physio exercises. I need to do them more, and it's very important to do your physio exercises, everybody. We got to do them. We got to heal the body, and then it allows us to be better runners. So it is definitely something that I am aware of, and it's something that I am going to work on, because I have a level that I want to reach in running. It just means me putting in the work. I won't get there if I don't put the work in. So it's all about action now.
Absolutely. Hayley, some of the things that we find out about ourselves during our races or our training runs can be quite scary and dark at some respects. You know, I call my there's a version of me that I call the inner sook, and it comes out when things are tough, and I sook and I whinge, and it's really hard to get out of that mindset once I'm in that mindset. So how do you motivate yourself when things get tough, whether it's in a training run or whether it's in a race? How do you work through that?
I think like in terms of like training and running itself, look, let's be real, a lot of us make excuses to not go running or to go to the gym or whatever, and I've made 1,000 of them, especially when it's raining. Like, I don't want to go and get wet. But to get to the level I want to get to,
I'm hearing you, Hayley.
Yeah, it's hard. But I have to do it. I don't do it all the time, but I have to do it. No, I don't have to. I want to, and I have the privilege of being able to actually go out to do it. So it's actually just kind of reframing the mindset to want to get out there. I think, yeah, for myself, like, I don't know what it is, but from myself going running, I feel very free. It's when I am least in my head, if that makes sense. I've had a few challenging runs. For example, one, I think it was a 30. Was it a 30K or a 32? But it was midday and I was stinking hot. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be hard. Like, I'd already premeditated in my head that it's gonna be hard because of the weather. So I got off, went going, and it started to like crumble pretty quick. I think I hit the 22, around 22, and I was done. Like, I was so over it. I was like, Mum, come pick me up. Like, she knew I was running. You can tell by my breath. And she was gonna come pick me up, and I still had like 12 Ks to go, I think, maybe more. And then I was crying and everything, and I was walking, and then I was like I hung up the phone, obviously. And then I was like, when I go and run a marathon, my mum ain't there to save me. She's not going to be there to come and pick me up when I need her. And I'm not going to quit. Like, unless it's like something very dire that I need to DNF, like, I will do whatever I can to finish. And I was like, okay, Mum, I'm finishing my run. Don't come get me. Like, and then I just kept going. I think it's just how we talk to ourselves. And as I said earlier, showing myself that I'm capable of doing hard things. But then it's also learning and understanding the body, of knowing when it's too far and knowing when to actually stop. So that's something I've also learned from IMP, is knowing not to push too far at all the time. It's okay to do it sometimes, but you don't want to like break. So I think that's something that I guess has helped me to be a better runner and a better person in general.
Yeah, you will get injured if you go past that point. you obviously, when you were at your point, it was your mental strength that kept you going. But sometimes you do have to stop, because if you do keep going any further, you will injure yourself. So
Exactly.
yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Now, Hayley, you're a younger-ish runner than us. We're seeing a big increase in young runners getting young people getting into running around the world. It's clogging up a lot of the race entries for us older folks getting into races. But it's actually really fantastic. We love seeing a lot of the younger people coming in there, because a number of years ago it was middle-aged and older people you would see out there doing a lot of the running. So I guess for any of our younger listeners out there, do you have any advice for those who may be just starting out as a young runner, wanting to get into this great sport of ours?
Yeah, I'd probably say to just show up, just start, like just get the foot out the door. It's going to be hard. It's going to be rewarding at the same time, though. Like, a lot of people might look at it as a physical aspect. Oh, I'm going to go running, like all that la-di-da stuff. Yes, it's amazing for your physical benefit, your physical well-being, but it's more important for your mental well-being. So it's just kind of like lining all that up together and finding the balance of it, but just also have fun, like enjoy it, go out, meet new people. There's so many run clubs now, but just go and have fun. And also at the same time, if you are wanting to take it that next step further, I definitely recommend, if you struggle with nutrition, definitely getting like a sports dietitian that can help you with that. I have one now, and it's really making a change and a benefit in my life. There's still like a long way to go, but I'm making that step to change in that area. And also, having a physio, doing the exercises, and just enjoying the process.
Yep, absolutely. And it is very important, isn't it? That's the most important thing to think of, is enjoy what you do. Don't go out to try and compete against anybody else. Just be yourself and enjoy it, and look after your body. So as you were saying, get yourself a physio or get yourself a sports dietitian if you find that the improvements aren't happening and stuff like that. Is that sort of the take through, I guess? Yep. Excellent.
Sorry, one more. Just to show up for yourself and be better for yourself as well. Yeah.
Yep. And that's exactly what it's about. It's all about you. Your running is not for anybody else. Your running is only ever for you. So that's a very good point. Excellent. We said earlier that last year you were the Indigenous ambassador for the Sydney Marathon. So what are your thoughts about Sydney becoming a major, and do you think it will rank against the other major marathons that you have done? So you've done New York, Berlin and London, so you've got a bit of experience there. Do you reckon it'll get to that point?
Yeah, I think it'll be I think it's amazing, obviously, for Sydney and for Australia. It definitely will bring in a lot of people, but I think it's more important, like it's on country, it's where we've grown up, and it's actually highlighting a lot of First Nations athletes as well. So it's opening up more opportunities for our young people, and then hopefully we can also get a lot of First Nations people from communities running as well, from up north, from inland, remote communities. Just highlight, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders for one, but it's just amazing just for the broader community as well, just for everyone. So I think it'll be amazing. I think it'll be amazing for us. So I definitely think it has the potential, definitely, to be high ranking and quite up there for sure.
Excellent.
One of the memories, once again, Hayley, after Sydney, was we quickly bumped into you on your hurried rush to the train station to get home. And listening to you again today, you're really quite introspective. You're really into yourself. You look at how you can improve yourself. You look at how things are working. And I'm taking there's a great deal of reflection within you throughout this whole journey that you've been on. So, you've done so many things that you should be proud of, and that your community and your family and everyone should be very, very proud. But I think the biggest person that should be proud is yourself. And that's just something that just the accolades that I can give you, because I can still see you're a work in progress, and you're trying, and you're taking that reflection from everything that you do, and then thinking, how can I make that stronger, better, tougher? And I love talking to you because of that. So, but now I'm going to flip the switch and ask the question that Tim wants me to ask, and that's on a recent episode we talked about bucket list events, right? And so, what would your bucket list event be?
Honestly, I don't have a bucket list event, although personally, because I thrive off challenge, as I've said, I really want to do 100K or something even longer. Like, mentally, I just feel so at ease that I could just keep going. I don't know what it is. I have a small inkling what it is, but it's something that I haven't really shared with a lot of people yet. Maybe in the future, that's something that will come out. But I think I just thrive off big, and I just want that next challenge. Like the 50 was good, but I'm wanting something more. And it's not even an event per se, it's something that I would love to do to raise money again. So I just want to be able to give back to the community because so many people put into me. So it's just, yeah.
100K. So
Or more.
maybe
Yeah.
the duo is Ned, doing something with Ned Brockman or something, going for, because he ran
have watched
London.
him.
He ran
I
London as
seen,
well.
yeah. He flew. Like,
Yeah.
when I seen his time, I was like, whoa, like, dude,
What was it?
off the charts.
2 hours 30 something.
2.5,
He ran it.
2.5, off the
But
charts.
don't forget, he was running 2 marathons a day for a
Which
very
just,
long
like,
time. Yeah.
definitely inspired me, definitely. And in terms of Ned as well, so there's actually another person. So Brooke McIntosh, she's running around Australia at the moment, raising awareness around mental health and raising money for the Blue Tree Project. So Ashley was coming through the Illawarra recently. I decided to jump out and run with her. And just done a casual 21 Ks 2 weeks post London Marathon. So like actually felt really good, but it was actually one of my highlight runs because it's such for a good cause. And we just like had a yarn the whole time, we're just chatting about life, and it was just special, So I really get inspired by all these runners who are doing long distances. Like it is out there now. There's a lot more runners you see now that are running these larger distances. But it kind of inspires me because I want to do something insane one day, to be honest.
And
I think it's amazing, honestly, and it inspires so many people. You get to meet new people, raise money for charity, which then helps others. Like, just being able to give back is amazing.
Yeah, and Charlie's doing something at the moment, isn't he? He's doing 7 marathons in the year, Charlie Mark.
Yeah, he's doing every state.
Yeah.
So state territories. Yeah. So it's doing amazing.
Yeah, this is the amazing thing that you see out of the Indigenous Marathon Foundation, because you see people not just content, for want of another word, with getting and doing the New York Marathon. It sort of opens up this, wow, what's next scenario. So absolutely inspiring.
And lots of amazing opportunities.
Yeah, and you had Gugsy, I think, earlier this year, ran 7 in 7 in 7 continents. So 7 marathons, 7 days in 7 continents. So phenomenal. And I guess it's all inspiring for everyone who's been on the project, and for those who are looking to get onto the Indigenous Marathon Project as well. So now, you alluded to it earlier on. Now it's your time. What are you training for next? What are the next big events coming up for you, Hayley?
So I've got 2 halves coming up. So I've got the McLaren Vale in South Australia in 2 weeks. So we're doing the half there, and then Gold Coast half as well. And then I'll be doing the first ever official world major in Sydney for the TCS Sydney Marathon. So let's go. I'm excited.
We'll be there.
I'm so excited because I get to be able to have my friends and family actually come and support me do a marathon. Like, you don't get to have that all the time, especially with expenses and everything else that is involved with it. Like, yeah, I'm very excited for this one.
It's nice to have one close to home for a change.
Yeah.
Yep.
And just to be able to represent like my community and everyone around me as well that have been supporting me on this journey. Like, this one's going to be for them, for sure. Yeah.
Yep. Well, we'll all be there running it with you, and
Can't
with our
wait.
good friend who we're trying to get on the podcast, Eliud Kipchoge.
Oh, I actually, okay, hear this one out. So we were in London. We were walking through St. James Park, and this little buggy comes behind me, and I was like, I know these. Like, these are the elites. And then I waved at Eliud and said hello, and he said hello back.
Oh.
And then they just kept driving up a little bit. So we waited for a minute because we're gonna go watch the changing of the guards, and then they just drove up a little bit, and they did that. So do you know the photos that were posted like just a few days before the marathon? Well, I was there watching, getting photos. That got me going. I was so excited for the marathon. I was like, this is amazing. This is worth missing the changing of the guards. Sorry, much respect, but like, this was like elite royalty. Like, I was like a little kid getting candy for the first time. Like, that's how I described it. And I was with John and Rosie. So John also ran the marathon, and he's a big part of IMF. Shout out to both of you. Like, the three of us were like doing a little tour. They were showing me around, and then boom, elites. Like, oh, so excited. Can you tell? Still excited.
Yeah. It's crazy how much of an impact that man has. And you remember in Berlin on the Friday night beforehand, the crowds that were in Berlin when they got him up on the stage and the cheering for him. And it's the same everywhere he goes. And I hope we get that same level of excitement in Sydney, and that they do parade him out there a little bit to the crowds and to the fans beforehand, to hype up the event and get some good publicity for it, because he truly is a special guy who definitely changes.
So humble. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Hayley, for joining us. We've had a lot of fun talking to you tonight. We wish you all the best on your future running journeys. But please stick around, because we've got a couple of things we need to do. One of them, we're about to do a fast 7, which we always ask our guests, which I haven't included on the run sheet, but I know Tony can do that off the top of his head pretty much. So it's 7 quick questions, which I haven't even told you about yet, Hayley, either. But Tony will go through the rules because it's his segment. I forgot to do it on this one on the run sheet. But Tony, over to you, mate.
It's all good, Tim. So, Hayley, it's 7 questions. First thing that pops into your head.
Oh, for me?
Yes. So I'm going to ask you the question. You just think of a very quick answer, and hopefully we can work this out as we go through. All right, you ready? All right, go. First question, podcast or music?
Depends on the situation. All right, podcast, music.
All right, cool. Best running advice ever given to you?
Don't empty the bucket too early.
Oh, that's a good one. What advice would you give to someone starting out?
Be kind to yourself.
Cool. Uphill or downhill?
Downhill any day.
Gels or blocks?
Attack the hills.
Sorry, what was that last one?
Gels or blocks?
Yeah, gels now. Gels. Yeah.
Favorite shoes to run in?
Tough one. I'm currently wearing the Asics Nova Blast 5. That's what I wore for the marathon. They were good. I've also had the Super Blast 2, so but I wear Asics, so we'll go with that.
Yeah, and Asics are great supporters of the IMF, so we'll just throw that one in as well. And last question, what is one word that you would use to describe your running journey up to now?
Adventurous.
I like that. And that's the fast 7. You've survived. Well done.
I am disappointed. I like it when I hear uphill rather than downhill. So
I am going to start training up hills, though, because Sydney has a few hills. So it's in my
Yeah,
training plan. Yeah.
attack the hill and use the downhill bit as the
Yeah.
rest, so you end up better off.
Wow.
Anyway, that's the Fast 7. Now it's that time of the week where we get a tip from me. So I'll just give you my quick tip this week. My tip is that running is for everyone. Exactly as you said earlier on, Hayley, running is for everyone. And it doesn't matter if you're young or old, anyone can do it. And it should be always about fun and the memories made. Exactly what you've talked about tonight. It shouldn't be about the times. I know we talk about the times. They're our personal records we keep for ourselves, but they don't really mean anything to anybody else, and they should never mean anything to anybody else. Focus on choosing events which look like fun with good crowds and runners of all experience and levels. And look for things like running groups or running clubs or park runs on those sort of things to make it a bit more fun for you, especially if you're starting out. So it's like you've read my tip for the week, Hayley. All the things you've said tonight are exactly the things that we promote on this show, and it's the things that we talk about all the time. So get out there, have some fun, give it a crack, travel the world, meet new people, and enjoy this great sport we call marathon running. So that's my tip of the week. Now, this episode is about to end, but before we do that, Tara, what is on next week's show?
Excellent. So for next week, we are going to talk about race expos. Now, we have talked a few weeks ago on one of our episodes about how some of the major marathon expos are starting to lose exhibitors and they're becoming a little bit boring, especially those ones that have got the tin roof ones or the plates or the knives or the curling hair things. So on next week's episode, we are going to talk about race expos and share our tips from the runner's perspective on how they could be better and more fun for the runner. We'll share our experiences of the good things we have seen as well as those things that we'd rather forget. So as usual, will be another episode not to be missed. Tim's gone, it'll be another expo not to be missed. That doesn't make sense. I don't know what he's done to the run sheet this week, but seriously, it'll be another episode not to be missed.
He's testing you as well, Tara. So either that or it's one of his little puns that he likes to throw in every now and again, and you go, oh no, I fell for it again. So that's actually going to be a really cool show because I reckon we've got a lot of ideas on how to improve expos. And I guess a great call out for our listeners, if they want to share some of their ideas on how to improve expos, let us know and we'll include them in the show.
100%. 100%. All right. Thanks, Tara. That's it for the week for our show this week. It's been really good talking to you tonight, Hayley, and catching up again. We've had a lot of fun catching up and reminiscing about all these great events that we've all run together around the world or run at times around the world. We definitely wish you all the very best in your future running journey, and we'll see you maybe at the Gold Coast. We're running the half. Tony, you're doing the full, but Tara and I will be there for the half, and we look forward to seeing you there. So thank you very much for joining us tonight, Hayley.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, and it's been amazing to catch up.
No, it's been good. Thank you. And I'd like to also thank my co-hosts for being here tonight, Tara and Tony. Thank you very much. I hope you all have a very good week ahead.
Thank you.
We love making this podcast for you, our listeners. Let us know what you think. As Tony said earlier on, and as I've said earlier on, we're looking for feedback from our listeners, whether it's questions for our 100th episode in 2 weeks' time, or whether it's input onto what makes a good expo, or even if it's just some words of advice or encouragement for Hayley, for instance. Anything you'd like to put out there and message us, please message us on Instagram, Facebook, or email us at happyrunning@flyingrunner.com. We'd love to hear all about it. You can watch this episode on Spotify and YouTube, or listen to us on Apple, Amazon, or wherever great podcasts are listened to or from, or whatever you want to say there. Every step counts. Keep running, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Flying Runner podcast. Until next time, happy running.
Happy running.
Happy
Happy running.